Yeah. You need the next one? Yeah, you can try that now. No, what it is here.
All right, folks, given that it's a Saturday morning and I know we all have better things to do with our time, I'm going to go ahead and start this meeting. It is 10 a.m. We can all start with a moment of silence, please. If we can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. Just as a reminder, if you have a cell phone on you, please make sure that it is either off or on silent. City Clerk, can you go through and take roll call for us, please?
Councilmember Williams.
Present.
Reed. Here. Jackson.
Here.
Lawler.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
French.
Here.
Anderson.
Here.
No, it's in the next.
So I would like to make a motion to approve the agenda. But given that the first section A under the code of, I'm sorry, section B, where I am being possibly sanctioned for violating FOIA, since I was not given 10 days notice of that, I'm going to ask that that be removed from the agenda. Say it again, please. Since I was not given 10-day notice of section B, where I'm being accused of possibly trying to violate FOIA, I'm going to ask that that be removed.
So moved. Quick question.
Support.
The email that was sent out notifying of the ethics hearing, was that not more than 10 days ago?
But go ahead, Councilman.
I was gonna say that, yes, that was sent out more than 10 days ago.
So does that meet the requirement for the 10 days?
And in terms of when notices have to be sent out, it has to be at least 10 days before the hearing. I think what the mayor is saying is there was an allegation in the notice that there was a violation stating that there was a violation of compliance with the law. I don't want to speak for the mayor, but I think the question as to what specific law was being violated, I honestly had a question about that myself. I mean, I think the other ones are probably obvious from the materials that are provided, but that was actually a question that I asked, Councilwoman Jackson, because I wasn't sure what law was being referred to. But yes, the email that was sent by Councilwoman Lawler and the materials provided to the clerk was on 10 days, more than 10 days before the hearing.
No, this is document right here, right?
This dated, it's the letter with the attachments dated November 10th.
Right, and it's the second. This also cites this is what she referencing, compliance with the law, letter B. That's what you're referencing there?
Basically, what I'm referencing is the updated agenda that I received yesterday with that information entailed.
Single sheet that was on her desk. That's in that was in the email. Section B, compliance with the law, level 2 violation is in the email. So this doesn't meet the requirement, or is it because this wasn't
So I can tell you from my perspective, the question I had was, and it absolutely does say level 2 violation, compliance with the law. But it doesn't say what law, and so I myself had a question as to what law are we talking about? You know, the representation of private interest allegation and the acting in the public interest are the allegations that are obvious from the materials that are provided. But I had a question as to what law was being referred to when Councilwoman Jackson provided the updated special meeting agenda. It's now apparent that it's referring to FOIA. But I didn't get that myself.
And I didn't get that until yesterday after 4 p.m.
Yeah, but you got this email, and in the email it says in regards to the October 11th email you sent to Ed Hobson and that Norris, and the October 3rd letter you submitted to the U.S. Economic Development Administration Selection Committee. I, along with 2 council members, 2 council persons listed below are formally requesting an ethics hearing. And then it's cited in the back, I mean, not in the back, but in that same document, letters B, compliance with the law, letters H, representation of private interest. What am I missing?
So again, that is just my motion. It can either be supported or voted down.
I'm sorry, Mayor, but the only reason I asked was because I wanted to make sure we had clarity on if the motion could persist. Cousin, is your stance that with the information that was submitted in the email, that it wasn't enough information and this motion can persist?
Well, a motion can proceed whether council agrees with it or not. It's not. Yeah, I mean, it's.
That's fine, that was the answer I needed. I'm sorry. All right.
So there's a motion and support to approve the agenda, removing section B. City Clerk, may you go to the table, roll call?
Councilmember Williams,
No.
Reed. No. Jackson.
No.
Lawler.
No.
Davis.
Yes.
French.
Yes.
And Mayor Snyder.
Yes. So at this time, I will go ahead and open up the public hearing. It is,
You had-
oh, I'm sorry, no, okay, you're right. I got it. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
All in favor? No, sorry, no, City Clerk, may go.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Reed. Yes. Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
Davis,
No.
French,
No.
and Mayor Snyder.
No. All right, so we'll go ahead and open up.
No.
No, Mayor, because the ethics hearing specifically pertains to you under the rules of procedure, you're supposed to surrender the chair.
Well, yeah, no, I was gonna mention.
No. It's supposed to stop right here.
That's right.
I would, I would turn the chair over to the pro temp for the purposes of public hearing.
Moving forward, we're at number 6, there will be no, or any recognition, any, recognition, I'm sorry, recognitions or anything. So going to the next, I'm gonna open up the public hearing now. At 10:09.
What the section are?
To Mayor, I'm sorry, Mayor Snyder.
Section A, acting in the public interest, level 1 violation. Mayor Snyder sought to aid the opposing party who is in active litigation against the city. Section B, compliance with the law, level 2 violation. Mayor Snyder used her personal email account in violation of council policy to avoid compliance with Michigan's Freedom of Information Act, FOIA. Section H, representation of private interest, level 2 violation. Mayor Snyder represented her support of a grant project as the policy position of the city without receiving authorization through an affirmative vote of the city council. Response from Mayor.
Mayor Snyder, at this time, we need to ask you a question.
So you have to provide the evidence? Is that
No, I have to ask you a question first. And then go forward.
You have to
So,
ask me a question?
yes, I do. So the question I need to ask you, Mayor Snyder, do you wish to omit or contest the
Contest.
violations?
Contest.
The violations, okay. All right. So going forward, go ahead.
Thank you so much. I'm going to do this as slowly as possible. I'm gonna take my time with it so that everybody understands what's happening here. So I'm gonna take it slow. On October,
Sorry, so just as a matter of procedure, our ordinance requires that anybody who's gonna offer evidence as a witness against the accused council member needs to be sworn by the clerk. So that would include council.
Council, as well, because you just said council with it also.
Yeah.
This one is standing, so we can.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the information you are about to provide is true and accurate to the best of your knowledge and belief?
I do. We may proceed.
so my first thing that I'm gonna do is present facts. On October 11, 2023, Mayor Victoria Snyder received a memo and agreement in her capacity on the Economic Development Corporation, which she holds in connection with her role as mayor. Mayor Snyder forwarded this memo and agreement from her personal email account. She forwarded the information to former EDC members Ed Haas and Annette Norris, stating the following: can you please pass this on to your attorney to see if this is reason enough to get an injunction? The city of Albion successfully defended against Mr. Haas' request for a restraining order on 10/3/22/23. On 10/9/23, a scheduling conference for Haas versus Albion City Council was scheduled on 11/7/23. On 11/6/23, during the regular council meeting, Mayor Snyder said that she sent the public information to Mr. Haas and Ms. Norris attempting to save the taxpayers' money. She additionally apologized for using her personal email account and claimed that the city emails account do not always work properly. On October 3rd, 2023, Mayor Victoria Snyder submitted a letter of support to the U.S. Economic Development Administration Selection Committee in support of the EDC funding request. The grant application was not brought before the council for approval or support, but states that City Manager Snyder can be contacted for further information and states full support from the council and I. Next, I'll be reading the violations. Section A, acting in the public interest. Level 1 violation. Members of the city council will work for the common good of the people of Albion and not for any private or personal interests. And they will assure fair and equal treatment of all persons, claims, and transactions coming before the city council. Mayor Snyder forwarded public information pertaining to the EDC city business to Mr. Haas and Mrs. Norris, asking Mr. Haas to share the information with his attorney and seek additional legal action against the city of Albion. Mayor Snyder was actively trying to assist a litigant in an ongoing legal dispute with the city. She has failed to work for the common good of the people of Albion and was working for private and personal interests due to her personal disagreement of the removal of Haas, Norris, Newman, and Evans by the council and the employment agreement by the current EDC board and Virgie Emery. Mr. Haas and Mrs. Norris could have obtained the information on their own without Mayor Snyder's direct involvement through the Freedom of Information Act. Mayor Snyder's individual actions are reckless and unethical. Section B, compliance with the law, level 2 violation. Members of the city council shall comply with the laws of the United States, the state of Michigan, and the city of Albion in performance of their public duties. Council members are required to use their city government email accounts, and that is from Resolution 2019-29. In order to make written communications accessible to the public under Michigan's Freedom of Information Act, that is also known as FOIA. Mayor Snyder's use of her personal email account not only violated city policy, but undermined FOIA laws that make sure that citizens have access to public records. Section H, representation of private interests, which is a level 2 violation. A city council member shall represent the official policies or positions of the city council to the best of their ability when designated as delegates for this purpose. When presenting their individual opinions and positions, city council members shall neither state nor imply that they represent the opinions or positions of the city council of the city of Albion. U.S. Economic Development Administration Selection Committee letter of support. The grant application was not brought before the council for approval or support, but states that city manager can be contacted for further information and states full support from the council and I. City Charter Section 5.6, letter L, says that the vote of at least 4 members shall be required for official action by the council unless a larger majority is required by law. The mayor stated support of a grant that neither the EDC board nor the city council have voted to approve. Thank you so much.
Minutes. Do you have any response?
I'm sorry, one point of clarification, Mayor Pro Tem. Councilman Law referenced several documents. I think you should make a clear record as to whether or not those documents are being received as part of the record here or not.
Okay. Those are the ones that are trying to make a record of those documents was received. That they all are part of, the code of ethics violation. It's being held against me tonight. Now, response from Mayor Snyder.
Is there any other evidence that's gonna be brought forth? So then you've closed your case.
We're right here on this agenda where it says.
And you've closed your case, there's no other evidence gonna be brought forth. No other allegations.
They get to ask you questions after this, and then there's nothing else. You can't, let's start right here. You can't run the. You can ask, me- no, there's no question that you can ask me. Right now, you are at point of order. You are at point of order right now. Now, we went over this code.
Yeah. Man,
Yes, you can,
okay.
because you're supposed to be here to,
And I'm going to enlighten everyone, I think, because no one on council, no council has done one of these hearings before, so it's a matter of procedure, this is how it's supposed to work. The chair introduces evidence against the accused council member, which just happened. At that point, any member of council can ask questions of the witness. So that's what should happen next. Once those questions are concluded, if there's no other evidence to be presented, then the accused council member can then present evidence in their defense. Once they do that, any member of council can ask those witnesses questions. And then once the accused council member is done, the accused council member then gets 10 minutes to make a closing statement, and then we move into the discussion.
okay.
So just so everyone's on the same page.
We had that in here, we took that out. About the council, you know, to ask her a question. You're supposed to go to response. This is what's on this agenda, because I had that in here. Remember, I said I did, yeah, I said I wanted to do that so that we can pull up this morning. It's not on the agenda. If you look at it, we took that out.
I suggested that we do it under each one,
Alright,
but either way, I mean,
Okay.
just so you know.
alright. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. So, I have a question. And I'm gonna take it slow, like I said before. Before emailing Mr. Haas from your personal email, did you check?
Oh, wait.
Oh, no.
Okay, I
You
think,
confused that.
so the opportunity to ask questions right now is, so Councilman Lawler was the only person that presented testimony and evidence. So now the procedure is, does any member of council have questions for Councilwoman Lawler? If not, then you move into whether or not the accused council member wants to present evidence in their defense.
Thank you. Councilwoman Lawler, can you provide for me, your, statements in chronological order?
Chronological.
Meaning that what happened on October 1st, or 2nd, or 7th. I'm confused by the timeline in which things happened relative to, the grant proposal being submitted without approval of the EDC board, relative to the fact that there was no EDC board when that grant proposal was written. So I just want to figure out that timeline.
Okay, as I stated in the facts. The city of Albion successfully defended against the person for the change order on 10.
I can't, sorry, I can't hear you.
On 10/3/22, I'm sorry, 10/3/23. That's when we successfully defended our case against the odds, right? Okay, on 10/9. Say it again?
Part of the case was settled, was not settled. It's still ongoing.
Okay, but we moved past
Right, so that was
the
10-3.
injunction, right? We won the injunction, right? Right?
We defended against an immediate injunction. We did
Okay,
not.
so did Cullen win or not that day, period? We did win, right?
Okay, let's move on.
Okay, so on 10/9/23, scheduling conference for Haas versus the city of Albion was scheduled on 11/23. On 11/6, during the regular council meeting. So I'm saying she stated that she did. So, I guess I'm not understanding.
So-
exactly what you're.
So what I'm asking is not about the violation regarding the email. What I'm asking about is the timeline between when the grant proposal was submitted and whether or not there was an active and voting board for the EDC to submit an application for funding for which the mayor wrote a letter of recommendation. So as I recall, in the chaos that was created by this council voting to remove the executive committee of the EDC, there was a standing proposal in the works. And that in order to meet the deadline, that proposal was then submitted with letters of recommendation. But because there was not a functioning EDC board, they did not get to vote on that. So what I want to know is what is the timeline? At what point did the grant proposal get submitted, the letter of recommendation get submitted relative to our voting to remove the executive committee of the Economic Development Corporation?
That's a good question.
Maybe it is, but I'm sticking to the facts that I know.
So what you're saying is we don't know.
What I do know is what I got in my packet, it's for everybody to read if they want to. Not to put me on blast, but what I do have is facts right here for anybody that wanna read them. They have dates on them.
Okay, we can stop that conversation. Yes, Councilman.
Thank you.
This is on the top, okay.
Councilman Lawler, was there ever a time when there wasn't an EDC board that was active?
Was there ever a time that there was not?
Have we never, so in the past few months, has there been a time where there was not a actual EDC board?
During this time, has there been,
Has there been a board in place this entire time?
from the time that we.
So, let me clean it up. So, in the time frame in which Annie French is speaking of, on 10/3, was there an EDC board?
No, if there was not an executive board, no, because we, the city had removed 4 people from.
But there was still board members on the EDC board, and there was enough board members for them continue maintain the business?
Yes.
Okay, so there was in fact a board in place.
Yes.
Okay, now, that's one thing to Mr. French's point.
Okay.
Now, the discussion about the EDC board, I believe it to be a deterrent. What we're talking about is the accountability and knowledge of our board as far as, when this document was submitted to, when this grant was submitted and this letter of support was written, did we have a board?
The city council?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so city council could have voted on this material regardless if there was an EDC board or not.
Yes.
Okay, did you have any knowledge of this?
I did not,
Okay,
not about,
when did you become aware of this?
I'm not sure the exact date, but the email came out and I seen, what she had written for the letter of support. And it said council and I. And I was not sure of what I agreed on, so, I was really, upset about it because I know, there is a rule that states, nobody can speak for us. If you speak for us as a whole, then you have to get us together and let us know what's going on. And then we have to say, okay, well, let's vote to have this, yeah, this letter.
Okay,
So I do know that you have to come to council and get approved. And I do know that, okay.
all right, thank you.
Oh, so
That's all right.
so the presence or absence of a board is not relevant to my question because we might all remember that though you had an EDC board, they never once had quorum to be able to take a vote on anything. So I think that point's irrelevant. With respect to, our mayor writing a letter of support for a grant, if I'm not mistaken, I recall that the EDC in years past has submitted many grants on behalf of the city and their projects that didn't require council approval. So I again don't think that that's either relevant either. What I'm trying to get at is, does the council approve or disapprove of a process? Or do they approve or disapprove of us submitting grants on behalf of the city? And so if we don't have trust that our mayor and the council members have the economic development
No, I don't want you to do anything, but I just would ask that you guys be respectful.
I am respect.
I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to everyone, please be respectful.
Yes, can I respond to something?
So,
I have to talk to him.
well, for all members of council, what council will be doing right now is asking questions.
Okay.
Not so much, you know, now is not the appropriate time for saying it. That would be when you get into your discussion to whether or not there's a violation.
I apologize, I was wrong.
I understand.
Wow.
All right, at this time, any more questions that you would like to ask the council member? Lauren? All right, if not, so
Just for clarification, and I wrote this down, so the two allegations or the two infractions regard the email from the personnel account and support for a grant. Those were the two, those are the main items, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Those are the.
all right. At this time, Mayor Stein, you have any responses?
So just to clarify, if I can, there's no other witnesses.
That's what we was asking too. Did you have any witnesses? We have anything? What we have is what is before you right now. So we can continue to proceed with this. I'm sorry.
Sure, yeah, so just before we proceed, since the mayor is accused, I need to advise the mayor, you have a right not to testify against yourself, you have a right not to answer any questions put to you, formal and informal, in which your responses might incriminate you, so,
Okay, thank you, Attorney Curtis. So I do have a written statement to address all of the issues. So to use the written words by Councilwoman Byrd, it is with intense disappointment that I am forced to be here today to respond to reckless actions.
We swear affirm the information you are about to provide is true and accurate to the best of your knowledge and belief.
It is. So I'll start again. To use the words written by Councilwoman Lawler, it is with intense disappointment that I am forced to be here today to respond to the reckless actions of four of my council colleagues. Let me be clear. The actions of Ms. Lawler and three of my council colleagues are not at all about the welfare of the city or its residents. This is about power. Simple as that. They have a majority on the council and they intend to bend it to their whim. Further, I harbor no illusion that the majority of the council will be objective today. The purpose of my statement today is to refute the allegations brought against me and to educate the public about the illegal actions of the majority faction of the council. These are the facts. And let's deal in the facts today, as facts are different than individual versions of the truth, as they pertain to allegations and actions of Councilmember Lawler, Jackson, Williams, and Reed. To address allegation number one, the October 11th email to Ed Haas and Annette Norris. Fact. On August 15th, 2023, Council voted to remove 4 EDC board members, ignoring legal opinions from both Attorney Harkness and EDC Attorney Carr. Both attorneys advised that this is out of the realm of council authority and against the Home Rule City Act. The following is a statement from Attorney Carr. The Home Rule City Act prohibits the city from removing a board member without cause. The EDC bylaws ratified by the city council only allow such removal to be for cause as defined by those bylaws. The list of for cause reasons in the bylaws does not begin to include removing an EDC board member, much less 4 of them, because of a vote by the board to terminate an employee. The EDC board terminating an employee is not on the list of for cause reasons in the bylaws and does not compare to the items that are on the list. There is nothing in the law that allows or justifies the council removing an EDC board member because the board terminating an employee. As an employer, the EDC has the right and authority to have and to terminate employees as part of the usual course of business. The council does not have the authority to interfere with that usual course of business. Fact, the EDC article of incorporation.
Hold on. Alright, there was a point of order, so the chair has to rule on a point of order.
I just wanna know, is this about the EDC or is this about?
I will get to it.
I'm talking to the pro temp.
So,
I have to rule on a point of order.
all right.
So, point of order, this is not about EDC, this is about me.
Right.
And all that I have heard is about the EDC, the four individuals that you feel that have you up here, which is a feeling. No, I'm on the point of order. That's where I'm at. You should be talking about what, you should be answering these allegations. Is what you're supposed to know, not we'll go to, you need to go right to it. And not the rest that you're giving the public, cause I could give them an overview of really what has happened. But I did not do that, so let's go to where we're supposed to be in. So all that did not address.
So Attorney Garkus and I are not allowed to make a statement to refute. Am I not allowed this now?
Taking no sides.
So, okay. What I would suggest is the mayor pro tem has ruled on a point of order. As far as presenting evidence, whatever you were, putting forth has been ruled on a point of order. There's a procedure, if council wishes to appeal that ruling by the chair, that we can. Alternatively, once you conclude, there is an opportunity for you to provide a closing statement. Traditionally, in the context of judicial proceedings, closing statements encompass pretty much anything. So if you have something that's outside the specific scope of evidence to contest the allegations, I think the appropriate time to present that would be in your closing statement.
Right, so then I will just go to the point. Fact, on October 11th, Jerome Harden sent out an email with a written statement that he alone rehired Ms. Ammerman effective of October 9th, back to her position without board approval. This email was not confidential or privileged information, as it was sent out to several individuals, including me. I forwarded that email to Mr. Haas in hopes of putting an end to the lawsuit that would have saved the taxpayer money in defending this lawsuit and hopefully right the wrong that was done by this council by possible injunctive review. I've already stated why I sent this through my personal email in a public council meeting, and council must prove the intent of my willingness to avoid FOIA. To address allegation number 2, my letter of support for the federal recompete grant with possible award of $50 million. Fact, the city council voted unanimously on October 3rd, 2023 to approve of the City of Albion Community Comprehensive Plan, AIR 25-513, with a motion by Nora Jackson and seconded by Len Reed. The Albion's comprehensive plan is a strategic document that guides the city in future decision-making process concerning land use and for social, economic, and environmental development. The agreed-upon plan specifically recognizes the need for workforce development training and the need for improvements to our major corridors to the city, including Austin Avenue, which is in direct alignment with this grant. My quote from that letter: the city council and I are in full support of bringing in new opportunity to strengthen our workforce and employment strategies. Is it not the explicit opinion of the city council by unanimous vote on October 3rd, 2023 to support the City of Albion Comprehensive Plan? By unanimous vote, the letter of support already received council approval. Would council members Lawler, Reed, Jackson, and Williams prefer that we lose the opportunity to bring in millions of dollars to strengthen our workforce and employment strategies and improve the Austin Avenue area? So those are my statements that are directly aligned with the allegations.
Okay, so once again, any questions? To Mayor Snyder.
Yes.
Go ahead, Councilman.
Thank you so much. I think I've heard a lot of admitting to the allegations. Whatever.
You wanted to hear.
Point of order. You clear?
Point Kip, yes, Jackson called him. Yes, I did. Because we have, excessive hiring back. Okay, all right.
You can ask him to be quiet, I can't ask him to be quiet.
No, I'm not asking you.
Okay.
But if I ask him to leave, then I need you to escort him out.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Are you asking him to leave?
I mean, he has that choice, that is.
You know what, you're my representative, my precinct.
Okay, so,
And I'm not, no, I'm disappointed. You.
Point of order.
one, go ahead, proceed.
I'll just get straight to the money. And this is for our mayor. Before emailing Mr. Haas on your personal email, did you check with the city attorney or EDC attorney to see if it was appropriate? If so, they either recommend you do it. Mayor Snyder had you previously used your personal email account to discuss or conduct city business with another person or persons. I heard you say sometimes it doesn't work. Our city emails doesn't work, so that's why I'm asking that question. Mayor Snyder, have you directly or indirectly communicated with Mr. Haas in any way about this lawsuit before or after
You need to,
emails?
you need to be able to allow her to answer the question.
Okay,
Start with the first one, allow her to answer that.
Can you say it again?
I'm gonna allow her to say, I'm gonna allow her to say it again, sir.
before emailing Mr. Haas from your personal email, did you check with the city attorney or EDC attorney to see if it was appropriate? And if you did either of them recommend doing that?
No.
Question number 2. Mayor Snyder, having previously used your personal email accounts to discuss or conduct city business with any other person or person?
No.
Mayor Snyder, have you directly or indirectly communicated with Mr. Haas in any way about his lawsuit before or after your email to him?
No.
My last question, Mayor Snyder. City Council Rule of Procedure 2A3 says that the city council, including the mayor, as a body. I'm gonna read that again. The city council, including the mayor, as a body. The city charter refers to the powers of the city council as opposed to the powers of individual council members or the mayor. Therefore, individual council members have no authority to act on behalf. Therefore, individual council members have no authority to act on behalf of or represent the city except as approved by an ordinance, resolution, or motion approved by the council? Mayor Snyder, what ordinance, resolution, or motion approved by the council explicitly gave you permission to speak on behalf of the city in your grant support letter?
The fact that the council approved of a comprehensive plan that directly aligns with what the grant was gonna bring money into our community for. We approved that as a unanimous vote by the council. By that vote, council gave support for any initiative to drive in money to help meet those goals and needs.
Thank you so much, but a comprehensive plan is what it is, a plan.
That's right, it's a plan for the
We
community.
have to vote.
We agreed upon.
Anything in the money, we have to vote. And we are talking about a
Love,
procedure.
love.
Close up.
Any other questions?
Yes.
Thank you. Mayor Snyder, were you aware that the city attorney was representing, city council as well as, the EC on October 3rd in a lawsuit against Ed Hassan and
Point of clarification, I've never represented the EDC.
Dude. Mayor Snyder, were you aware that the city attorney was representing city council in the city of Albion against a lawsuit against Ed Haas and other members of the EDC board on October 3rd?
I was aware that the attorney represents the city of Albion.
Okay. Thank you. On October 11th, you decided to send an email to Ed Haas and Annette Norris. Was this email intended on stopping the forward motion of the lawsuit?
The intent, like I had said before, was to hopefully put an end to the lawsuit, because at that point, we all knew that we were gonna have to hire outside legal counsel to defend the lawsuit. Again, expense to taxpayer dollars. So that was my hope, to put an end to this, so that we wouldn't have to proceed with the lawsuit, so that we wouldn't have to make the taxpayers pay for another attorney to defend the lawsuit. That was my intent.
So your intent was to assist the plaintiff in the case against the
To
city?
bring an end, injunctive relief and end.
Mayor Snyder, are you aware that when submitting, letters of support, that they're supposed to be brought in front of the rest of the council?
I was not aware of that. I don't know where that is written.
Are you aware that you cannot represent the city, better yet? Are you aware of ethics, the code of ethics, H, representation of private interest? A city council member shall represent the official policies or positions of the city council to the best of their ability when designated as delegates for this purpose. When presenting their individual opinions and positions, city council members shall neither state nor imply that they represent the opinions or positions of the city council of the city of Albion. Were you aware of that code of ethics?
So that's going to the letter of support, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, but like I said, because council already approved that these were initiatives that we were gonna work together as a community. Council unanimous approval for all of that. That was council approval for any initiative to bring in money to help us get to those goals.
Are you aware that the council is a 7-member board? And it's only represented as a separate 7-member board?
Yeah, and that's why I said council and I, because when we approved of the comprehensive plan to meet those goals, council and I, we are all on board with that. We're all on board to bring in money to help reach those goals.
Are you aware that the comprehensive plan does not state policy or procedure?
It's a body that we work towards together. It was approved by the planning commission, it was approved by city council, that these were what we were gonna work towards as a city.
Are you aware that the comprehensive plan does not clarify or present policy or
But isn't
procedure?
it policy?
It is not policy.
That is.
Okay, on October 3rd, the letter of support was issued for that for that grant. At any time in the past 2 months before this ethics hearing was scheduled, did you think to, inform council or to bring that information to council?
No, because again, with council unanimous approval of the comprehensive plan, that was reason for me to say that council and I were in agreement of this, in agreement of trying to bring in $50 million into our community.
Okay, Mayor Snyder, are you aware that if city council isn't aware of a grant and the EDC board isn't aware of the grant, that that information that is being communicated is being monopolized so that no one is aware of it?
Being monopolized by who?
Those that are in the know,
Community.
those that are in the know.
It was gonna come to the community. Who was it gonna benefit? The community.
Quite possibly, right? If and only if community members were being represented, but the people that represent those community members were not informed that this was taking place.
Again, kind of going back to what Councilman French was saying, because of lack of forum for EDC board, there was a lot of transition
Excuse me,
turmoil where
excuse me,
people
Mayor.
cannot be.
Excuse me, Mayor, I'm sorry, but we're not speaking to the EDC board, we're speaking to city council.
I understand, but you're saying that the EDC board was not aware, so you're the one that brought that up, so that's why I was responding.
Okay.
So, kind of go back to what Councilman Williams was saying, at that time, there was a lot of turmoil, there was not a CEO, there were 4 board members removed. So this still had to be moved forward because there are deadlines. And so just because there's turmoil that was created by council, does that mean we lose out on $50 million? This
Okay.
was gonna come to the community. There was no way how this wouldn't be beneficial to everybody.
Thank you. So here's my. The decision to upheave the EDC wasn't something that council did. It was something that the EDC board did. The EDC board didn't have a contingency plan in place. The EDC board made those decisions. The EDC board did those things. Council held the board accountable for the things that they did.
No.
Now,
Okay,
hold on.
no, we gotta,
I got another question.
go with the question, but not, we gotta.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, you can do the question.
Go ahead,
You can answer the question.
go ahead.
Yes, go ahead, Councilman.
Thank you. Mayor Snyder, is it true, and perhaps our city manager can help with this, is it true that any grant proposal that we receive, we are granted, must be approved following award to receive that grant?
Exactly.
So whether or not the grant gets submitted in the public eye, to the comments made by Councilman Williams, when we are awarded a grant, that grant award comes to the city manager, and then we vote to accept that grant. So we have multiple opportunities to approve or disapprove of the grant, so
Are you answering our question?
I did.
Okay.
Well,
What was the question?
I said, is it not true that when a grant is awarded to the city, it must be approved by the city council following the award letter?
And I said, yes.
Okay, all right. Because that can be a question that city manager can help with at this present time.
I'm done.
Any other questions?
yes, Mayor Snyder, isn't it also true that bringing those, the letter of support is the council supposed to supersede, any grant notifications of what's been approved and how it will be, delineated or, administered?
Can you repeat the question?
Okay. Isn't it true that there should be a vote on submitting letters of support that precedes anything else to do with those grants?
I was not, like I said, I was not made aware that there's anything in writing that states that I have to bring forth a letter of support to council when it comes to being in compliance with things that we've already agreed upon.
Now, have you in the past voted on, submitting letters of support here in council?
I don't remember having done that before. I don't remember ever bringing forth an agenda item for approval for a letter of support.
Okay, are you familiar with the NIP grant that we filled out in November of last year?
Can you be more specific?
It was a grant in partnership between the city of Albion and Neighborhoods Inc. It was submitted to help, families with home improvements.
Mhm.
Okay, that letter of support was voted on by council.
So, but that,
Do you remember
yes.
that? Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? Remember that we're not supposed to be using our phones. Yes.
I would just like to know, would you be in opposition to any other council members using your name in with something that you were going to do because it had been discussed before without getting your consent?
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
I was saying, because when you said that council was in with how you were voting. Would you?
I'm sorry, Mr. Ray, I can't really hear you. Can you use your
microphone, it's on. I said, would you be agreeable to your name being used in on something? If someone on council was talking about doing something and it had been discussed before and had been, said, yeah, we're gonna do that, but then when it came down to it, they weren't really told that you were using their name, but you used it. So if they used your name instead.
So. I guess kind of, if I'm understanding your question correctly. Would I be opposed if a council member wrote a letter of support? For something that would improve the community, would I be opposed that they include my name in that? Is that the question? So to that, yeah, no, I would not be opposed, because if it's gonna improve our community, I would not be in opposition of that. I would not try to throw up a barrier to bring in money or do any type of improvements for our community. But then also, we gotta keep in mind that the role of mayor is also separate from the role of council members. So, but kind of going with your question, though, I would not be opposed if it was something that was gonna improve our community.
Alright, any other questions?
I have a question. Mayor Snyder, can you clarify what you mean by the mayor role is separate from the role of council? Because in the system of government that we have here, we all vote the same.
Yeah.
No one's vote outranks another. There are certain things that are granted to you, but this isn't one of them.
But I was gonna, so kind of going with that, though, when it comes to letters of support, the letters of support, they need a mayor's letter or, you know, the highest elected official. That's typically who submits the letters of support, because if they don't have that, then the chances of that grant are not that great. So I know that there have been opportunities for council members to also, because I've seen emails where council members are also asked to provide letters of support. So, but that's kind of where I was going with, like, the role of mayor. That's different because that's an expectation that the letter writer be the highest elected official.
Isn't that also with the vote and consent of council?
Again, I don't know where that's written. Where is that written?
Haven't you seen the city ordinance and the documents that were submitted for this agenda?
That for letters of support, that I have to have council approval?
That when it comes to the representation of, well, I can read it.
And again, going back to the comprehensive plan that we all unanimously voted on, the comprehensive plan was council approval.
So you're under the belief that the comprehensive plan supersedes other ordinances?
I guess there's no win with this now, is there? Because it's just gonna go in circles.
Well, honestly, Mayor, I think the win would be just to, be a little more transparent in submitting this information so that we're all aware and that we can represent our precincts and the city united.
Okay, we need to stop. Alright, any other questions? We can move on. Okay, so at this time, Mayor Snyder, do you have any closing comments?
So I guess is council gonna provide closing argument or is that?
No, we have to proceed, it goes, yeah.
So I guess my closing statement is, as the mayor, I was elected to serve all Albion residents. And in both baseless allegations brought forth by Councilwoman Waller, I was doing just that. As a lifelong resident of Albion, a woman of color, and the mayor who won the majority of votes in the 2 recent elections, I say this is enough. This is an embarrassment. We need to focus on healing and on doing the business of the city, and most importantly, on stopping the undue influence of those who should not have a say in local politics. I refute in the strongest terms the allegations brought forth and ask that they be withdrawn. The due process clause in the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution extends the Bill of Rights to persons accused by state or local governments. Persons are entitled to fundamental rights. One of those fundamental rights is to be judged by an impartial and unbiased tribunal. The majority of this council are neither impartial nor unbiased. But there is still a chance for them to do the right thing this morning. And I'm hopeful that in this season of giving, they stop and make the effort to look past the things that divide us and come together for the betterment of Albion. I'm hoping that you all think for yourself and demonstrate your commitment to moving Albion forward instead of continuing the finger pointing, the drama, the unnecessary spending of taxpayers' money on legal matters. I want to thank the countless Albion residents who have called me, emailed me, texted, and even showed up today to support me. I assure you that I will continue to serve the people of my hometown as their mayor with integrity, professionalism, and civility that this position deserves.
Okay, this time, let's close the hearing at 11:00.
Do, the public not to get
No,
part of the public hearing?
no. This is a special meeting, they will get it at the end.
Public comment.
The comments will be at the end. Yeah, like we stated before, this is the first time, so this is what Paul and I had went over, but no.
You guys approve the agenda.
So the way the code of ethics hearing proceeds is written in the council, we will skip the next 3 items and go right off into.
does the agenda approve it? The agenda approved.
You have to follow it if you approved it. Yeah.
Your own rules, your rule, follow your
That's
rules.
your rule.
That's right.
Point of order.
Point of order.
Yeah, point of order.
Yeah.
All right.
Almost like you don't have anyone else to add it, but-
All right, at this time, if anyone would like to have public comments, please give your name and your address, limited to 3 minutes. Direct your comments to me and need you to be, respectful. I know, it's like okay, but anyway, be respectful is what I'm asking. Okay, yes, ma'am. Yes.
Can I go to the?
Yes, you can, you may come to the mic. Please state your name. And make sure it is according to the application.
I understand you. Good morning. My name is Letitia Cotis and I've resided at 925 Hall Street for 24 years. Let me begin by stating
That needs to start.
Let me begin by stating how disappointed and angry I am that once again, our city council is stirring up vindictive drama in our city. Every single bogus charge leveled at the mayor could be stated of this same body. Not acting in the public interest of the community, check. Non-compliance of the law, where do we even begin? Representation of private interests, the projection and gaslighting here would be comical if it wasn't so damaging to our beloved city. The city of Albion needs strong, moral, intelligent leadership, and Mayor Snyder provides just that. With her at the helm, my family and I rest at night easily knowing that we have someone with the city's best interest in charge. The city council continues to be an embarrassment to many members of the Albion community. What a waste of precious resources you have caused. Immense amounts of money, time, opportunities, and great talent have been wasted the last several years. They have been squandered while you drum up ridiculous ways to enact your secret agendas. Ethics and laws be damned. If I could bring up ethics charges myself, I would. Sneakily planning ways to overthrow our democratically elected representatives and the people they have chosen to hire certainly takes people with a severe lack of ethics. The people of Albion want nice streets, places to shop, and job opportunities. We want adults in the room and not a never-ending and narcissistic reality TV show. My hope for Albion is that ethical people will have Albion's best interests at heart and will step up and run for election when your terms expire, because otherwise you are going to destroy the city you promised to serve. Mayor Snyder, I want you to know how much my family and I appreciate your hard work, dedication, and commitment to this almost impossible position you have. You are an example of who Albion needs and deserves to have leading it.
My name is Rick Lang. I live at 810 Haven Road. So this is not what I expected to be doing on a Sunday morning, but I'm here to support our mayor. Mayor is a decent person who is only trying to advance the interests of our city. This includes normal activities like pursuing grants. Fine. Unfortunately, it also includes efforts to mitigate or minimize the damages caused by our council. It's clear she's done nothing wrong, nefarious, or unethical. This is just a sham. This proceeding is just wrong and it should stop now. Drop it, move on before you do any more damage. Stop it now for the good of the city and its reputation. Stop it now for what might still remain of your reputation. If you have any decency at all, just stop it.
My name is John Shedd. I live at Locust Lane in Albion. I've been in Albion for the better part of 76 years. They kind of stepped on my lines a little bit. First, to explain an outdated form of government known as oligarchy. You've probably seen it on TV. It is defined as a small group of people having control of a country or other organization and using their position to further their own or their constituents' control to benefit themselves. The iron law of oligarchy states that all forms of organization, regardless of how democratic they might be at their start, will eventually and inevitably develop oligarchic tendencies, making a true democracy practically and theoretically impossible. I submit that despite the Albion City Council's origin as democratic, it is slipping toward oligarchy, directed by a group of individuals whose interests do not represent the needs of our community as a whole. The following is paraphrased from Lincoln's Gettysburg Address. Brave men have died, have given their last full measure of devotion, so that our nation and this city should have a new birth of freedom, and that our government of, by, and for the people shall not perish from the earth. It seems that we are fashioning our behavior after our state and federal politicians, many of whom have lost their way as far as representing their electorate. Nitpicking, accusing, and arguing seem to be the order of the day, while truth, cooperation, and concern for advancing our community take a back seat. We need to right this ship so that we can survive and prosper in the coming years. At the beginning of this meeting, we spoke the words, under God, with justice for all. In John 8, God's own son, when confronted by a crowd about to stone a woman accused of adultery, said, "He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her." It seems that we spend a lot of time casting stones. Mayor Snyder is doing her level best to promote and direct the city and deserves to be respected and assisted in this endeavor. Let's work together to make Albion a symbol of collaboration, cooperation, and responsive forward thinking. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Tom McClure, I live at 909 Luther Drive here in Albion. Apologize for my outburst earlier, okay, but I was driven by some of the comments of our council. I watched people's faces during this procedure, and Ms. Lawler sat with a smirk on her face, as if this is some kind of joke. It's not appropriate, I agree. Now, it's funny to me that you guys were willing, some of you, to just go ahead and forget the agenda. Because you were gonna throw that away and just go on with the meeting. But yet when our mayor does something, you guys are jumping all over it. I'm here to support the mayor. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in you too, being my third precinct person. I'm sad too. Because my dad was a mayor. My stepmom was a mayor. And you know what? I remember the councils, they worked together. And that's not happening here. And it needs to.
Hi, my name is Gina Pritchard and I live at 1011 Fitch Street. I'm here to support Mayor Snyder. Yesterday I had bad feelings and I'm a person that does not like to have bad feelings. I love everybody and I tried to do a lot of good in the 30 years I've been in business in this town. And I supported a lot, but yesterday I was so mad that this is going on, partially because Mayor Snyder wanted to apply or show interest in a grant that would help our city. When you have to approve it, if we got it. I didn't understand that. I don't understand the nitpicking all the time. I've been here for a long time, pretty much 60 years. And I want to say that yesterday I went to the Warren Treaty concert. They praised Albion. They praised him last night. I got back in town and I saw all the street lights, Christmas lights. It was beautiful. There's so many good things going on here and I just wish the council could be good too. Thank you.
Hi. Every shower, 805 that Howard Drive. Help me understand this blanket okay that y'all did, unanimously voted agreement is bringing us here today. So when when Mayor Snyder said that she would accept this here $1 billion grant proposal, whatever, are we gonna do this every time that something is being accepted? Or do you need to come back together and talk about it? Because it seems like it's a blanket, yes, But if you don't understand what the blanket is all about, or the proposal, or the grant, or whatever, if the council don't understand it, we'll be back here again. Because it's saying like, okay, we did a yes, but I don't agree with that yes. I don't agree with somebody making a vote for me. I didn't agree with you making a vote with that trash thing you did. I didn't agree, but it did benefit me. But I did not agree with things that put my name on it. I need to know if my name, I'm representing whatever. And the same thing here. If she said that, yes to a grant, I thought that she should have been, come back to y'all and say, this is what is planned. This is what needs to be done. But when somebody just say, I put my name, your name on this, I don't agree with that. If it's good or if it's bad, I do not agree with that. So going forward, and I know this is not over yet, but going forward, I think y'all need to know what somebody's saying yes to your name too. Not to continue to say, okay, this is a blanket, you already said that we said yes, but no. I think you need to come back to the council and say, how about this or how about that? And I don't agree with somebody putting the name, as she said, that the council and her. Y'all should have been informed what was going on, what was said, and it's not right. And I'm not in this here with this division in Albion. Albion is so separated. It's the black, the white, it's the this and the that. You know, it's the saved and the unsaved. I don't agree with this here. Our city is so divided, it does not make sense. We are not unified, and when there's division, there's failure. And I think we need to come together and bring this here. And I know that we can't please everybody, and we won't please everybody, and the majority rules. But I think that we need to come together as a whole. Otherwise, ever will not prosper, ever will not grow, and ever will not do what we need to do. But I ask God that He would help us and keep us. And I don't agree with putting the name or accepting something that the whole body. So in the future, y'all need to get together and make sure that y'all agree. Even on this here blanket agreement, you need to agree. Do you still agree to this or that or not? And that's why we're here today, because we don't agree.
My name is Tom Hunsdorfer. I live at 803 South Superior Street. Been an Albion resident since 1997. I'm 74 years old and retired. And I first want to thank each of you for your service to our community. You all contribute much time and emotional energy to help our citizens as our community's elected leaders. So I thank you for being here in the jobs you're in. I've served on the Albion Board of Education, the Albion District Library Board, and formerly was the director of the Fork Senior Center. Currently, I'm chair of the county's Senior Services Board, and I'm president of the Jackson Interfaith Homeless Shelter Board. I've known Mayor Snyder for more than 20 years, and in my experience, she's a person of integrity who cares deeply about our community, her family, her church, and for helping young people get into college and to succeed in the world. In my view, our community has many challenges. More than 28% of our residents live below the poverty line. We have senior citizens who live in unsafe housing and need food assistance just to get by. We have families struggling with domestic violence. We have young people experiencing depression and drug overdoses. We wrestle with the difficulty of attracting new families and businesses to relocate to Albion. My hope is that you as our city leaders will focus your best energies on these issues and challenges, and also that you'll work harder to build trust with each other and set aside some of the things that divide you. Right now, our federal government barely functions because of perpetual squabbles and disagreements between Republicans and Democrats. Almost nothing gets done. We don't have to be like Washington, D.C. We can demonstrate that collaboration and partnership do work to get things done in Albion. In conclusion, my recommendation is that you table this matter before the matter that is before you this morning. Just set it aside and instead continue to focus your energies and leadership on the major issues that affect the quality of life for our fellow residents. You are our leaders. You give much time and energy to your work as council members, and I believe you all care deeply about our city.
Please help our community grow and prosper, and I thank you again for your service to our community.
Wayne Arnold, 906 Hall Street. As I sit here and listen to all this contention, now, some may know that I ran for city council the last 8 years. I've been involved in city politics because I felt like Albion wasn't being represented in the way that I thought it should be. I'm also a lifelong resident of Albion. Now, I'm speaking because in this instance, I think that the equity task force would have been something that could probably been an intervention for this. But for the last 2 years, we haven't been able to seek the equity task force. Now look where we're at. We're at each other's back. You got people going at each other's throat when Albion, that is not Albion's value. We always been able to get along, but as I can see, we ready to go into chaos. And you know what? I have no problem with that as long as we're on the right side of chaos. Now, this division, I don't feel like we need to be going at each other, hand in fist. I know we should have had that equity task force. That leads to the fact that we're completely split, getting ready to go at each other's throat over an issue that, frankly, I haven't been to city council meeting because I've been so discouraged and I've been so outdone that I don't even want to participate anymore. And it's incidents like this that comes up, and I get so frustrated every time there's a mess that we got the gallery full. But when it comes down to seeing stuff like the equity task force, oh, nobody's interested. Oh, no, we can't get enough application. Oh, that's a second thought. Why didn't we get the equity task force needed? And then maybe we wouldn't have had to go through this. I'm saying going forward, I don't have anything against it. Everything's fine to me. But I haven't been in politics the last year, so I can't weigh in on this one way or another. But I don't know which way it's gonna go, but I know that I'm sick of this. And hey, if I'd been here, I don't think we would have been in this position, because sometimes you just gotta speak up for right. We don't need to be doing this stuff, power is something. This town is too small to even implement. We don't have any power. The power we have is within ourselves, within our community, within our council. You can't unilaterally go do things on your own.
Hi, my name is Brenda McClure, I'm Tom's wife. I live on 909 Luther Drive. I would not normally do this. This is really, not me. But I have a question for all of you. What other options were considered before this? What other things did you try? Did you do anything else before coming to this? I'm serious. Somebody answer me.
I can't answer you, Bill, that's why you have to be
Oh.
directed towards me.
Oh.
Yeah, that's fine. I can't answer you, but I can't answer you either, but you
Oh.
direct to me,
Okay.
you hear what you're saying.
Well,
Thank you.
I guess what I would say is there should have been some other things tried, some other things done. Whether it be, going to the mayor and saying, hey, I'm so happy we got that grant for $6 million, but, I really feel like we gotta figure out our process and maybe review it and maybe write it down and do something consistent next time. We know there's a little turmoil going on and we probably lost sight of what our process is, but let's figure that out. Okay? That would have made a lot more sense than coming to this point, wouldn't it? So, You know? Let's do that. Please. This is ridiculous. And I support the mayor, and I support everybody, but we've got to do a better job of not making things into big, dramatic craziness. That divides us all. Okay? Thank you.
Good morning, City Council. My name is Clifford Harris. I live at 411 Elizabeth Street. I've lived in Albion for about 26 years. How much I love this town. I was not born here. I had these super deep feelings of love for Albion and commitment to Albion. And so it's very hard to watch this city council repeatedly embarrass us in the public with this obsession with minor, tiny details that only reduce our ability to be successful in the wider world, reduce our ability to get granting, because it simply makes us seem foolish and out of control. The fact that we're here trying to hold the mayor responsible for trying to bring in grant money, it sounds like a Saturday Night Live skit. It can't be real. I would ask all of you, why are you not writing letters to get us now? Why are you not trying to bring in $50 million? City of Albion has a city council that we elected. People should think about this moment and these types of decisions that our council members think are wise when we vote at our next election.
West Erie Street. I know most of all of you. And I think Mr. French, he's nice, he's always speaking to me. Yes. I'm sorry. And Miss Davis, he's always speaking to me. When I say, hey, I ask about her daughter. How things are going. We know what Jill does. She does a tremendous job. You call him, he's here as a bystander. He's trying to keep things calm. Donovan, I think it's wonderful to have a young man, a young black man on our city council that can enhance us more than what has been going on in the future. Miss Reed, school teacher for how many years? He knows everybody. She put up Holland Park. She did things that nobody else would do. She put those flowers up out there in that Holland Park. She went to places that she didn't have to buy flowers. Her and her sister digged the flowers up that nobody else had, and she put them out there in Holland Park. And Marcola, she's not sitting there smug. People don't know one another, so how can you say somebody's sitting there smug? And that's not nice. You don't know. You don't know what's going through her heart. She thinks something was done wrong, so she brought it to the front. And that's what we're supposed to do, bring it to the front. And when the mayor is sitting up there and doing her job, nobody's outburst, they're doing outbursts right now. Nora's doing her job because she has to sit there today. It's not right. People ought to know it's not right. And I think some of the money that's coming through is not getting put in the right place in the beginning. So that's why it needs to be spoken up. Some people are getting more than others on whatever side of the street you're on. And I think that's wrong. Very wrong. And we're not thinking about that. I was born and raised in Albion. I'm a gambler. I'm married to Mr. Holt. He's 105 years old. I don't have to to put up with this here? Mr. Hope got more sense than most of us, because he's 105 years old. But I can only see in the council, when you see something wrong, you need to bring it to the front. And you need to do what's right. If you can't vote on something together or present something that all's supposed to be on, we should do it. And that's what I believe. So we all need to get together and trust in the Lord with all thy heart and lean not to our own understandings and all our ways acknowledge him and he will direct our path. Amen.
Ronnie Sims, 710 West Erie Street. I guarantee you I will not get an applause when I'm finished.
That's okay.
However, a prosecutor sat in my house and asked me some questions about some things that I had done. And the response was, yes, I did that. My intention for doing it, to me, was in the best interest of the people that I served. I had every intention of doing well, regardless to the situation. But he asked me again, did you do that? And I said, yes. And as a result of that, me saying yes, he said, we don't care what you did, how you did you do it? And as a result, I had to face consequences. I had to be held accountable for my actions. I felt maybe it should have been handled a different way. And unfortunately today, what I've heard, and the allegation that came forth, basically was asking, did you do that? And the response that I heard was basically yes, regardless of the intention. I heard yes. I think it's time for us, and it was stated once before, that through all of this, we do need to come together. We do need to have a main focus on this town. This was the All-American City. I believe it will be happening again. But it's going to take something, I don't know what it is, for us to come back together. My grandson, I'll share the story, he's 5 years old. I'm 62. I'll be 63 next month. He said, Papa, when I turn 51, I don't know where this came from. When I turn 51, you're gonna be dead. It was funny, but it was realistic. We don't have it so long, everybody's sitting in here. We have a matter of time. And what are we going to leave as a legacy to this city?
I mean,
It's time to get busy.
I'm just looking.
Well, okay, thank you. It's time to get busy. It's time to settle our differences. And it's time to put away foolishness, whatever foolishness you think it is. And it's time for Albion to come together and make something happen. I came into town from Jonesville last night and I saw some beautiful decorations. That's just a tip of the iceberg of what Albion could look like. And I think it's time for us to just come together.
All right. At this time, if there's no other individuals that have come forward, we'd like to move on. We don't have any closed session. We have no consent calendars. And we are going to go into our items for individual discussion. So A, discussion and approval finding an ethics violation. Motion to, I need a motion before I move further.
Motion to approve finding a violation of section 8, acting in public interest, level 1 violation.
Support.
Okay. So, acting on the first violation, we need to, with any discussion before I go on? Anybody have any discussion before I move on? Okay, if there's no, do you have your hand up or not? Go ahead.
I move to find Mayor Snyder in violation of Code of Ethics, Section A.
There's already a motion.
There's already a motion, so.
Well, the motion was for section A, so you got a motion and a second to treat it like any other motion, second, have a discussion. And once discussion is concluded, then you take your vote.
Okay. That's why I asked, any discussion, if there's no discussion, we move on.
Do we need to read over it?
Let me read all three of them, and one at a time, right?
Well, the motion was just for A, so right now you're
Yeah,
just doing
one
A.
at a time. All right, okay, this motion, discussion, on a motion. Okay, Mayor, I'm sorry, Law, Councilwoman.
Thank you so much. So, what I am doing is, getting, the public to understand process and procedure. That's what I'm doing. So, on the code of ethics, section A, it was admitted despite of what, the intent was. But, I did hear Mayor Snyder, I'm sorry for saying her, but I did, that she admitted to doing this. Thank you so much.
Yes, Councilman, Williams.
Yeah, okay, so in acting against, the city and supporting, supporting plaintiffs against us and the city, I do agree that this is a violation of acting in the public interest. And the mayor did agree and admit to sending emails regardless of what the intent of sending those emails were. We can't prove intent, but we do know that when we're in litigation with someone, we're not supposed to be contacting them, or we're not supposed to be supporting them against our own body. Thank you.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
Davis,
No,
French.
No.
No.
All right, next, motion to approve the violations of section B.
Or.
I need a second.
That was the motion.
Yeah, motion.
That was the motion.
I need a motion, yeah, I need a motion.
Okay. Motion to approve finding violation of section B.
Okay,
Compliance with the law.
need a support.
Support.
All right. Motion to approve violations of section B compliance with the law, level 2 violation. Any discussion? Yes, go ahead.
Thank you so much. So in reference to procedure, the mayor did admit to the violation of compliance with the law.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like to
Councilman Grant.
I would like to correct Councilor Lawler's statement that she admitted to that our mayor did this violation. I find that she did not. And again, I will say that But again, this entire, charade is irritating and disappointing and, it smacks of a former council member and mayor, what, and it's all over it, this idea that we're led to, we're focusing on policy and procedure. Good and bad for the city, the actions of the city mayor. I think that because we have standing litigation continuing against us, I think our mayor was acting in the interest of the city to minimize its impact of the council's actions. So I don't see that as a violation of compliance with the laws, but in fact, once litigation is completed, we may find that in fact members of our council were in violation of compliance with the law. And so until such things are decided by the courts, it makes it no sense to me to bring up this particular violation, since the ruling is still out of deciding whether or not we as a council are in violation of compliance with the law.
Say what? Ms. Reese says speak up, she says she could.
So in any event, I would like that to table this particular violation and move to the next.
So at this time, if that was tabled, we need to take a vote on that. That's where we're at. So we need to take a vote on the table. Go ahead. And then we proceed to. Is anyone supporting that? Or is it standing by itself?
Support for table.
Okay, I will. He would like to table motion to approve finding violations of section B, compliance with the law, level 2 violation.
In reference to.
In reference to, Mrs., I should say Mrs., but Councilwoman Lawler saying that the mayor did, say that she did do this. Well, that was a fight, clear fight for her, because she did say that.
So, I'm asking that we table this second motion because of the continuing standing litigation against the city and city council for its actions regarding the EDC board. That the actions of our mayor in regarding to this particular violation represents her efforts to minimize the interaction of, well, the cost of such litigation. And so until we hear from the litigation that is still pending, I feel like us holding our mayor in violation of compliance with the law, when in fact we as a council may be in violation of compliance with the law, I find that to be troubling, and so would rather just table this particular violation at this time. Until such time as the courts have decided who's right.
Now, we have to address the table.
We address the table first. So do I have another motion, Joey? Go ahead.
Thank you so much. The reason why I said that she, did admit it, because in a council meeting, she said that, sometimes our city emails don't work. But the process and the procedure, members are required to use their government accounts, not your personal account. So there is a procedure there. So when you say in a council meeting, yes, I use my city email. I use my personal email because city don't work as much. That is a violation. We all know, we all have been to all these trainings. We done been, mayor has been elected twice. She know not to use her personal email. You know what I'm saying, right? She know now, she knows the procedure. And we have right here. That says, even if she didn't admit it, I'm looking at black and white. A Gmail from her. And a Hotmail to him. So there is proof. Looking at it. Thank you so much.
Also on the,
Go ahead.
also on the topic of tabling this as well, I do believe that, we are well aware that we're not supposed to be in conversation with people that we are in litigation with, being that we've been in litigation, previously. So we've been made well aware of the procedure, following that.
I'm in favor of, yes, I'm in favor of tabling it because I think this is very a minute situation. It's something that could have been handled differently, and we are in litigation, so why are we discussing this? So, I mean, we're digging ourselves in a deeper and deeper hole in terms of following guidelines as well as working together. We are not working together, so to table this at least says that we are aware of the thousands of dollars that we are spending of the city's money, and that we're continuing to dig ourselves in holes that are not pleasant, is very embarrassing, and, you know, I wish it would end. So I am in favor of taking this.
I'd just like to add, none of us here chose to be in these holes. None of us made these decisions to,
Okay,
none of us here contacted, people who had litigations against the city. That wasn't a decision of ours at all. The accountability has to come into play at some point, and unfortunately, today is that day.
Call the question.
Councilmember Reed? No. Jackson?
No.
Lawler?
No.
Davis?
Yes.
French?
Yeah.
And Williams?
No.
All right, moving to motion to approve, findings of violations of section H. Does the motion pass? Oh, right. So still on motion B, so we need to just go ahead and do that.
Unless you have further discussion.
Yeah,
Call the question on, motion, section B.
yeah, correct. Any other further discussion?
No, call the question.
Councilmember Reed? Yes. Jackson?
Yes.
Lawler?
Yes.
Davis?
No.
French?
No.
And Councilmember Williams?
Yes.
Moving to motion, need a motion to approve findings of violations of section H.
Support.
Okay. Representation of private interest, level 2 violation. Go ahead.
I will again restate the idea that, writing a letter of recommendation on behalf of the city for the obtaining of millions or tens of millions of dollars does not represent a private interest, but rather a public one. So again, I will ask that this, motion be taken.
So just to have some conversation on the, topic of tabling in this matter, I know it's being painted as, members of council are.
No, it wasn't a second.
You shouldn't be,
You shouldn't be talking about
you
it.
shouldn't be in discussion unless there's a second on the motion.
Yeah.
Support.
Okay. The narrative is being painted as members of the council aren't grateful or supportive of the fact that a grant was written. That's not all what's going on here. That's not at all what's taking place here. What's taking place here is if you don't know that a grant is submitted, when will you know? What will be allocated by the time that it's presented to you? This grant is specific to the Austin Avenue neighborhood. One that borders precinct 1 and precinct 2. Precinct 1 is my precinct, precinct 2 is the precinct of Mr. Bree here. The EDC board was not aware of it. I understand that they didn't have an executive board in place possibly at that time, but they also had a board in place at that time. The EDC's board was not made aware of it, their staff applied for it. This isn't something that we've gotten, this isn't something that we're turning down, this isn't something that we're debating. What we're discussing here today is the process in which information is shared. I said before, the monopolization of information is something that should not be taking place here in the city of Albion because it's not collaborative and it does not help or benefit the community. When things like this are brought to the table, they are discussed, everyone has their input, and those people who are least represented have representation on this board that can ensure that their interests are being represented. Those properties owners in that corridor, that Austin Avenue corridor, have not been contacted. They haven't been talked to about the things that they need. They haven't been talked to or addressed about the things that they would like to see. The property owners know. So do I agree with this taking place behind closed doors and council not being made knowledgeable of it? Not at all, not in the least, because I know that it could be very harmful for those people who own property and live up there if this money was to come into this community and it utilized in a way that did not help or benefit them at all.
Okay. This is discussion.
Yes, you're correct.
Okay, as representative for precinct 5, if any money is available, please write a letter of support. We have. Crumbling infrastructure. We have awful roads. We have homes that need to be repaired. We could use money. We could use money for this community. I personally would be the last person to say I didn't know about it when it became available. Because I know grants, sometimes you learn about them Monday and they're due Wednesday. So, you know, if you're doing something to support the community, to enhance the community, I think that's a good thing. So I'm looking at the big picture. You know, okay, get my hands slapped, I did write the letter. It was an excellent letter. I read the letter, it was an excellent letter. So that's not the problem. The big picture we aren't looking at in terms of helping the community. We're looking at these minute details that frustrates me, frankly. And I'm not supposed to get frustrated, but the minute details that is in the best interest of our community, we're using our time rather than addressing some of the other issues. Thank you.
In response to Councilman Williams, I will read the economic development, Albion Economic Development memo sent from Lindsay Moore, which is in our packets. In his claim that money might not be used for the benefit of people in his particular precinct and people not having a voice. Quote, on October 5th, 2023, the Albion Economic Development Corporation took a significant step toward revitalizing the Albion community by submitting an application to the Economic Development Administration E2P pilot program grant. This initiative is geared toward injecting new life into distressed communities, focusing on job creation and connecting workers with opportunities in areas most in need. The program is poised to usher in a transformative era of potential and growth. The first phase of the Recompete Pilot Program grant application consists of two key components: a Recompete Pilot Plan and a Strategic Development Grant. In phase one, the EDA will allocate funding for strategic development grants and give green lights to select regions' recompete plans. Only those with approved recompete plans from phase one will be eligible for phase two, which is the big money. The AEDC collaborated closely with Albion College, the Albion Chamber of Commerce, and the city manager to garner input of the most critical area in Albion in need of revitalization. After careful consideration, all parties unanimously agreed that the revitalization of Austin Avenue is of paramount importance, given its pivotal role as a primary gateway into the city. This aligns seamlessly with both the AEDC strategic plan and the City of Albion's comprehensive plan, where core revitalization, particularly the Austin 600 block, stands out as a key priority to foster economic stability and growth. It goes on, but I would argue that in order for us as a city to get this kind of money requires the input of the citizens of the region in which it is being impacted. To assume otherwise is to think about conspiracy theories in a whole new way. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to speak to, that third paragraph. Okay, the AEDC collaborated closely with Albion College, the Albion Chamber of Commerce, and the city manager. In the EDC meeting, city manager said she had no knowledge of this. She only spoke to her once about this project, right?
Correct.
Okay. The AEDC, which is the Albion Economic Development Corporation, also said they had no knowledge of this. Lindsay in that same meeting said that she had not contacted any of the board members. And you guys can watch the meeting for yourself. She had not contacted any of the board members about this grant. Keep in mind, the grant is a good thing. Nobody's complaining about the grant. That's not the topic of discussion. It's the procedure, right? Okay, so the only people who were contacted was Albion College, the Chamber of Commerce, and the mayor. So the people who have been put in place to represent those people, those landowners and the people that live up there, were not contacted and were not in the know. And that's not a terrible thing, because there had been time after the application was submitted. The statement from us that we had no knowledge of was submitted on 10/3. We're talking about this on December 2nd. We could have talked about this at our last meeting, the meeting before that, any of the special meetings that we've had, any of the budgeting meetings, any of these meetings that we had in between 10/3 and now, this could have been discussed. It's not calling it out because it's a bad thing. It's calling it out because nobody has talked to us about this at all. Had it been submitted and it was under that headline and we talked about it at the following meeting or the meeting following that, there wouldn't be an issue, I don't think. I mean, procedurally, yes, and maybe we handle that in a different way. But when it's allowed to persist and no one be made aware of it, it has to be a problem because we represent those people.
Go ahead, yes. I would just like to ask, my fellow council person, what do you want in hindsight? But, I mean, why are we here? What do you want?
I want information to not be monopolized.
Okay.
I want information to be shared openly so we can collaborate on things.
Okay.
I want information to be presented in a way that we actually have dialogue about it. I think for the most part, we come in here, we typically all vote the same on things. Anything that we know that needs to be passed to benefit the city, we do it. We make sure that we ensure and provide anything that we can to, make sure those things go through. This would have been one of those additional things. Do you know how happy and cheerful we all would have been if somebody would say, hey, there's a $50 million grant out there, and we plan on applying for it, and we're gonna submit a letter of support. Oh, great job, phenomenal. But procedurally, because this is the part that we have to understand. Procedurally, none of us get to sign you up as a co-signer.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I understand that procedurally, we can change the procedures. It doesn't take this format to change a procedure. If a procedure is not in place, then let's put it in place for the next time. You know, the smear campaign and the wrongdoing, I think could have been handled differently.
Yeah.
I'm appreciative of the comment. I don't control a newspaper or blog site. There is no smear campaign. We are here in the open meeting because this is how we have to discuss these things. There is no smear campaign. These actions weren't actions that we've taken. We're here because the mayor decided to reach out to a plaintiff that we are defended against in court.
That's not what this is about.
It's not.
That's what's in these documents, and that's why we're here today. Now, to this other point, there is a procedure in which we have to participate in when it comes to submitting, letters of support. She agreed that she's done it in the past. You can go and look, we've done it in the past. There is no reason why council shouldn't be made aware of letters of support for grant writing, especially when it's all of us co-signing that this is taking place. So you're basically saying, when submitting that we are all knowledgeable. We are all knowledgeable that we are supporting this. We were not. That's the issue.
Okay, so we can move on.
Yeah,
We can put the procedures in place and then we can move on.
They were already in place. They've been negated.
All right, any other discussion on this table? All right,
So we're voting on table.
voting on table.
Councilmember Jackson,
No.
Lawler,
No.
Davis,
Yes.
French,
Yes.
Williams,
No.
Reed,
So now we're going to the motion that to approve findings of violation of section 8, representation of private interest level 2 violations.
Call the question.
Councilmember Jackson,
Yes.
Lawler,
Yes.
Davis,
No.
French,
No.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Okay, the discussion / approval of penalties for ethic violations. I need a motion to approve sanctions for violation of section 8. Yes, go ahead. Councilwoman Lawler.
Hold on, don't we have to have a support?
we need a motion for.
Yeah.
Support, so move, sorry, so move. Yeah. Yeah, she's.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. I would just like to move, to approve the following sanctions. That will cover all 3 code of ethics committed by Mayor Snyder. A fine of $700. One is a total of $700. $100 fine for the level 1 violation, and two $300 fines for the level 2 violations. To be paid within 30 days, 30 calendar days from today, December 2nd, 2023. A formal resolution to censure which includes a request for the mayor's resignation. Publication of the resolution in full in the recorded newspaper. Prohibiting Mayor Snyder from participating in closed sessions related to the House litigation. Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right, so
What did you, go ahead.
So my suggestion to council as a matter of procedure would be, because there was a motion and a second to only deal with the first one, I would deal with them individually. I understand Councilman Lawler's addresses all three, but the motion and support that you have before you is just for the first one. So unless you want to amend the motion to deal with all three, or if you want to parse it out into the three separate ones, but I think that's the kind of conundrum. There is a motion and a second for just one.
So I need someone to amend the motion. Go ahead, Councilman.
I'd like to amend the motion that we cover all three code of ethics violations.
So move.
Okay. That motion. All right, so go ahead and
Is that to amend the motion?
let's amend the motion.
Councilmember Lawler,
Yes.
Davis,
No.
French,
No.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
So can you tell us what you have?
is for two, on the agenda.
It was amend the motion, so A, B, and H combined together.
She's already, What you read?
No, you guys have to, I don't think you can, but you have to.
What
have
we just
discussion.
read, you need to have discussion on.
Yeah, you guys are in discussion now on your motion.
Yeah.
Yes, Councilman.
So, wow, it's revealed the goal of, of the council is, not in compliance with what we heard from our community just this morning. It is, basically an attempted coup to remove, for, relatively minor, ethics violations that were contested, that we would fine our mayor and force her to resign. That's not something that matches the level of violations that have been submitted. So I'm stunned by the temerity of this Councilman Lawler and her behind the scenes supporters to make chaos in the city again, and it's been going on now for 12 to 16 years. So I would vehemently oppose anything but the minorest of sanctions for these violations, but to ask her to pay a fine and ask her to resign, no, not even close. She's broken no law, she's accepted no bribe, she basically made an email mistake and didn't let you know when a grant was that a letter of recommendation was written. So I'm sorry, it doesn't, the punishment does not fit the crime at all.
This is our first time doing this. I'm wondering where the fines come from. A lot of this information is very new to me, and this is what you're saying that the mayor has done. I'm, should that have been shared with someone, or what is going on?
Is he okay?
No, termination is not in her packet.
We wanted to.
Yeah, did you want to respond?
Yeah, it's in.
Yeah, so Councilwoman Davis, in the section 15 of the ordinance, it sets forth the various penalties that are different levels of violations, and within that section 15, it does list a civil fine as one of the potential penalties.
I read that. But, again, when I read it, I didn't take it seriously because I didn't think that, an email would cause these kinds of fines and this kind of damage to one's position. So, yeah, I did read it, but it just didn't register that it was actually going to happen.
We need any other discussion? Go ahead, sir.
So given that council's never done this before, the suggestion I would make to council is, I know that Councilwoman Lawler, had motioned for a fine to be due within 30 days. Generally, the clock on a fine starts to run when, if this was a judicial proceeding, it would run from when a judgment is issued. So I think probably the best course of action for council is for the, clerk to prepare what the council has decided in writing and provide that to the mayor. Signed by the clerk, and then the time period be 30 days from the date that that clerk issues that finding in writing. As it relates to the resolution of censure, obviously, there's not one here today, so I mean, you have to deal with that at a future meeting. Precluding the mayor from attending the closed sessions on the pending Haas versus Albion matter, you're gonna need to confer with Mr. Patterson about that. You can certainly make that motion. My suggestion would be though, if it's permitted by law. Mr. Patterson may have one perspective on that. A different attorney might have another, but I would confer with him about that. And I'm not saying you can't do it, but given that he's your conflict counsel on that, he may have a different perspective.
On second.
So I'm reading the available actions that can be taken. Sanctions I'm reading section 14. Subsection, sanctions may include reprimand, formal censure, or civil fine, loss of committee assignment, restrictions on budget or travel, and a request to the governor for removal from office in a manner and for causes provided by law. So there's no mention about her being asked to resign. So I would strike that just as not appropriate. That's not in our purview to ask her to resign. She can decide to do that or not. And my guess is that will be contested in court.
Council is clear, unless I'm misunderstanding something. The motion is for a request for resignation. It's not a forced resignation, it's a request for resignation. So, council can request something, but that doesn't mean it's going to make that happen.
Which is why I'd like it stricken from the recommendation.
All right, any further discussion? All right.
What are you voting on?
The amended motion.
the amended motion.
Which one?
For A, B, and H to be combined together with the violations that were put before us.
Thank you.
Councilmember Lawler,
Yes.
Davis,
No.
French,
No.
Williams,
Yes.
Reed,
Yes.
Jackson.
Yes. Okay. Any future agenda items? Okay, let's move on to public comments. And once again, as you come up, please state your address and your name and your address. Limit your comments to 3 minutes and direct them to me and be respectful.
Linda Coleman, 105 Rowan Avenue. Hopefully be respectful, but for the first time in my 42 years of supporting so many projects, being a very dedicated volunteer, being a person who looks at the big picture for our city and does what's best and supports what's best. I support Mayor Snyder. For the first time in my life, I'm seriously considering selling my home and moving. I feel that city council does not represent me, that the city is moving in a direction that I'm fearful of what we will see in the future. And I've never seriously considered leaving my adopted hometown, but today I'm seriously considering it. Thank you.
Sorry. Hi, Tom McClure, 99 Hooper Drive. It's funny that, you had discussion as part of the process here to talk about, and give people an opportunity to discuss a motion that, what I'm afraid of is nobody listened. And so words kind of fell on deaf ears, I suppose. I've heard arguments from, I suppose, both sides. That's funny because it's that way. Just don't think people listen. And I must say, I disagree with every vote that was taken today, and I could have told you what the vote was before you took it. And that's sad, and that's what I'm talking about. Y'all came, some people might have come in here with that expectation that they were gonna hammer on the mayor. Then they did. I don't get it. I don't know how you could ever charge a fee to our mayor. By the way, Mayor, I congratulate you on being able to sit here and put up with this.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed, and I just want that to be known. I want our mayor to be treated like a mayor, to be treated like someone who cares about our city. I don't even really care that I wasted 2 hours of my life this morning just to come and support her. So do me a favor. Everyone. Go back. My wife said something about change the process. How you interpreted that process was to the team. You could have said, oh, we're just gonna give you a reprimand. No, you went to, like, fine. What the heck did she do to deserve that? Nothing. Thank you.
I mean, I'm with 906 Charleston. Yeah, it's a shame. You know, like I say, I deliberately stopped coming to city council meeting. I've been a part of the political scene for like, I done ran two terms, and I never did agree with all of this, but what I'm saying is, I don't know, you know, it's a difference between right and wrong. Like I said, I don't have anything against the mayor. She seems fine with me. I met her in 2020. She and I don't have any disagreement. Mind you, I haven't been involved in the last year. I wish I had it because I would be more in depth on making a decision on what's going on here. But I'm frankly in the line, but I'm not gonna throw out no accusations. I mean, clearly, I'm not gonna, I mean, I don't know what's going on here. The city council know more than I know about the seizure and all of this. I don't know what's going on because I haven't been here. And I don't think anybody else has been here either because we don't have these galleries full until it's a mess. I'm sick and tired of the mess, you know what I'm saying? And issues that concern us, community is not being addressed. Again, I didn't know all this stuff was going on. I actually was gonna come to the next city council meeting and ask what's up with the equity task force, so, and then I run into this. I don't really know what's going on, but I know right is right, wrong is wrong. Now, if someone violates the procedure or whatever they like, you got to be held accountable. Now, I don't know what accountability looks like, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, to what extent that it goes, but I can clearly see, this was like orchestrated and then like this division, I mean, this hoopla. Why can't we have this hoopla every first and third Monday? How come we can't have interest in the city council on the first and third Monday? Why do we have to wait till it's a mess or some disagreement before we bring this issue to the public? We're not being, the public is not being informed correctly. I don't know whose fault that is, but only way I was informed is that I was here. So I would just encourage people going forward, come to the city council meeting. Just don't wait till you get an opinion from somebody and then come give your opinion. Be involved, you know, and be involved. Literally, don't wait till it's invested, then come and give your opinion and give the idea that Albion is so divided, which obviously it seems to be the case. I mean, it doesn't surprise me, you know, but I think that I don't know what the resolution is to this, but I do say that, you know, right is wrong and wrong is wrong, but I don't know what the penalty should be. No worry about that now. Thank you.
Again, Letitia Gotis, 925 Hall Street. Just a couple of final thoughts. One, I don't come to the meetings anymore because nobody listens to any of my opinions, and so it's just a waste of my time. Number two, I think we all know the truth in here, which is that there are 4 members of our council that want our mayor removed because she is not their puppet. And I am, for one, am proud that she's not a puppet. I am extremely disappointed in some of my former colleagues. And I would just like it to be put on the record that as a member of the 4th precinct, I am requesting the resignation of Marcola Lawler. I bring up more, I drive, I'm very sad. I think that the vote was wrong. I think that the consequences or whatever you want to call it was ridiculous. I believe that I just don't even know, you know, I'm retired now. I was thinking this was gonna be, you know, a nice place to retire, nice place to live. We built a house here, we raised our kids here, I lived here 37 years, and raised 2 good boys. And, you know, I don't know.
I don't know if this is gonna be the place to kind of make our base. I don't know. Maybe not. So, you know, I hope everybody, you know, is gonna start to work together. And start to, not go to these extremes and this drama. Because, you know, in my career as a teacher, you know, you make a mistake or you have a disagreement. You don't go to the school board and make a big deal. You sit down and you talk to each other. Yeah, you know, a conversation. And then you work things out. And you try that procedure and you keep reviewing it because, you know, we're all human. We're all human. And we need to be treated like humans. So please. Do each other like a human.
Came here for a reason other than speaking today, but I can't keep my mouth shut. There's talk of process. And I recognize that when the process.
Attorney,
Pardon?
attorney, your name,
Oh, excuse me, Mark Garrison, 1005 Locust Lane. I've practiced law in Albion since 1975. I've done municipal law, I've done a lot of other things. But at any rate, when the process suits you, you have a great deal of respect for it. When the process doesn't suit you, you ignore it. For example, in the termination of the EDC board members, you were advised that you didn't have the authority to do that. But that process didn't suit your narrative, didn't suit your needs at the time. You talk about emails, and I have a sense that 4 people in this room knew ahead of time what the motions were gonna be, what the votes were gonna be, what the proposed sanctions were gonna be, and how the vote was gonna go. There's talk of glass houses, and there's also talk of the Local Open Meetings Act. You guys need to watch that your house isn't made out of glass, because if it's determined that you violated the Open Meetings Act, if it's determined that you used your own personal emails in trying to conduct city business, that's gonna catch up with you sometime. Yes, you.
Hello, folks, I'm Clifford Harris at 411 Elizabeth Street. I would like everybody to go to the webpage and see when people are up for election next. I am volunteering now to take donations to make sure that not a single dollar of this silly and regrettable fine is paid for by Mayor Snyder. I want to say once again that I'm embarrassed. You're going to smear the name of my town all over the state. This ridiculous thing that you've done is going to get us in the state papers again.
Yeah.
Make us look ridiculous. Scare business away. Scare retirees away. Scare students from Albion College away. Every aspect of our city and of our college and of our business life is being damaged. I just hope you have some kind of end game. I hope there's some amazing magical thing that you're gonna do with all this underground stuff that makes no sense on the face of it. I know I will be working to make sure that each of the people who voted for these things is not elected the next time they're up.
Hello, Dr. Stacy Levin, 412 Darrow Street. I've had the great pleasure to work with many of you up here. I just wanted to share my gratitude to Mayor Snyder. This is not easy. Hang in there. You have a tremendous amount of support.
That's the whole, that's theory. Right's right, wrong's wrong. There's nothing wrong with these councilmen by going through the procedures, making sure everything is right. There's nothing wrong with it. If something else came up that was not in favor of this, they would have been wrong for not speaking up. They're speaking up for what's right. They're going by the bylaws and the violations, ethics. Right's right and wrong's wrong. Everybody loves one another. Everybody wants to get along. Somebody's wrong and somebody's right. Like I said before, majority of the money is not going to where it needs to be. And for them to speak up because someone else is holding the handle or whatever, it needs to be brought up. Just because they're speaking up and what they found, you could probably find something on me. Right's right and wrong's wrong. People are doing their job. If it wasn't in the criteria or whatever, we wouldn't be here. Thank you.
My name is Sheila Lyons-Savatsky, and my address is 1433 East Michigan in Albion. That's my postal address, but I actually live in Sheridan Township. And today is the day that I think I would say I'm living in Sheridan Township. This is embarrassing for Albion. This is something that others have mentioned, where it could have been, it's really blown out of proportion. Maybe a lack of communication, maybe some mistakes. But to come here on Saturday and have Mayor Snyder on trial, I think for these reasons, I think is wrong. And I find it actually very harassing for her and how she is doing her job. It is here to smear and humiliate her, and I do not think that's fair. And I support those who support Mayor Snyder, and I support Mayor Snyder.
I see no more further comments. So we need to go on to, I know there's no city report.
Anybody?
Then I go to any council member comments. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm proud of our citizens who showed up today. I'm proud of the work that we as citizens in this city try to do to advance our city in ways that that benefit as many people as possible. And as a member of Rotary, I am reminded of the four-way test, and I fear that we are not following the four-way test. And the four-way test reads, first, is it the truth? Well, there's all kinds of truth, and it's hard to know what side of truth you're on. Second, is it fair to all concerned? Well, I don't think we have it fair to all concerned. The punishment meted out certainly doesn't fit the violations that were voted on. Third, will it? Oh God. will it build goodwill and better friendships? Today's action, absolutely not. Absolutely not. It has completely divided us. It brings forth the divisions that have existed in this town for 100 years. And we ebb and flow with connectedness and disconnectedness throughout the decades. And I fear that individuals who are in the background, who are leading what they probably think of as a revolution. And so that's concerning because they're not here telling us what they want. They're just using council members to further an agenda that we don't actually know what it is, other than to sow discord and disaffection. And the fourth rule of Rotary is it beneficial to all concerned? And I think we've failed miserably at that today, and probably in the last 4 or 5 months. So I'm disappointed. I would agree with the attorney for our mayor, his comment about what we're doing, and we just, I fear that we are falling into sort of what the MAGA Republicans are doing, which is creating discord and chaos for the sake of discord and chaos and hoping that a change that will better them rather than all is taking place. And so I'm just really disappointed.
We haven't talked, and I put on my 4-way button today because when my husband and I, he said, well, what are you going to say? And I said, I'm going to listen. I'm going to listen to what is being said. I'm going to listen to what is being done. I did read my information. I thought it was far beyond where we are, so I didn't take it seriously, especially in terms of the fines. We're not there, of course we aren't. But the 4-way test came on later in my life. And the reason I joined Rotary because of the 4-way test is because of my belief systems. My belief system, even before 4-way, was treat others as you would like to be treated. That was the kind of home that I was raised in. All of us make mistakes. All of us can do things that maybe others don't like, but we have the intelligence and we have the ability to negotiate, to compromise, to collaborate within our own setting that is not a spectacle. We're not embarrassed as we are now. I feel embarrassment because I don't think everybody should have known all the little nuances. I try to look at the big picture and whatever I can do to improve my community now for almost 50 years, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the best interests at heart. Sometimes it takes long hours. Sometimes it takes conflict at home. Why are you going to this meeting? Because I just have a genuine concern for where I live and where I raised my family. And I do believe in treating other people the way we would like to be treated. The attorney mentioned the glass houses, and that's a serious matter. All of us may say something or do something that is not approved or appreciated by others, but we have the intelligence to sit down and work our problems out. We have the intelligence to sit down and have a come to Jesus meeting, we used to say. To sit down and negotiate and compromise and let bygones be bygones and not try to punish and not try to publicly humiliate and not try to fine. Hopefully we can get back to that level. hopefully we can get back to the idea of agreeing to disagree, but to compromise and to come together. And 101, when I first got into public office, basically in the school system, board policy 101 is you may kick people under the table when you're in closed session, disagree. When you come to the forefront, you want the community to feel that you are in accordance with each other. You may not always agree, but you're in accordance. And one other comment, we had students here a couple of weeks ago. These are 18-year-olds, 17-year-old who had to come to a council meeting. That was a mistake. That was a mistake basically because students I spoke to their class earlier. I said, come on down to the council meeting. You know, it's a learning experience. And the student came up and told me, this is the worst I have ever seen in a public body. She said, the council people don't even like each other. How can you work together? And this is coming from an Albion College student who is a freshman, not the senior, but who is a freshman. So if other people can see it who don't live here, why can't we see it, is my point. So hopefully we're able to get beyond this and move on to be proud of our council, to be proud of our community. Thank you.
Any other?
So back in 2019, when I decided, kind of talked into running for mayor, I wanted to do so to change the way city council ran. Because we know that the past two mayors, unfortunately, did not do such a great job of keeping drama out of the headlines. My intent when I ran for mayor was to take down the circus tent that enveloped City Hall. But time and time again, others insist that the clowns keep coming in and to run our city government process. I've done my best to try to keep things out of the public eye. When issues come up, I address them privately. I don't see the need to do this in a public forum, which again makes our city of Albion look like clowns. Not only do people in our community see and hear this, people outside of the community, people statewide, people nationwide know of Albion city government because of the undue drama that comes into this chamber time and time again. People who put things on the agenda that are gonna cause drama. All of this could have been handled differently. But like I said, when I did my opening statement, things were already in process before we walked in to the door today. It's sad, it's unfortunate, and it's hurting our community.
Yeah. Thankful and grateful to the city of Albion to be in this position to represent the city. I was born and raised here in the city of Albion, mainly in precinct 1. I've also lived in precinct 3 for a while. But Albion has its flaws. It always has. I live close to the Austin Avenue corridor. One that was never bustling in my lifetime. There was a shop or two there that I could support as a kid. Those shops no longer are there, right? When I joined council, one of the first things that we did discuss was the comprehensive plan. So in order to prepare myself for the conversations that will be taking place around that plan, I had to go back and look at the previous plan. What I saw there was neglect. You guys can feel free to take a look at it. I believe it's the 2017 comprehensive plan. There was a section in there in which poverty was quoted or labeled, and what they would do to, what the plan was over the next 5 years to address poverty here in the community. There's a correlation between poverty and the grant information that's submitted, right? If you look at any of the grants that's been submitted recently, it quotes the poverty level here in the community at 61%. If you want to look at something that will inform you of the condition of the city, look at Census Tract 36 and the data that is contained in that, right? You don't steer a ship out of stormy water by continuing to do what you've been doing. There has to be an account of where we are currently and the direction in which we need to go. Accountability is not something that is pretty, shiny, or something you can just throw on when it's convenient. It's integral. Accountability is integral. You have to have it as a person, and you do it in all things. So today, we address accountability, and we do it with integrity. And I hope moving forward, we don't have to address these things going forward, but it's rectified in the things that we address today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Today, my intent was to inform the public of what I found. And I think I did a pretty good job because I did my research too. I have my facts. I have paper from emails that's showing me what I think I seen. I did see. Put these on paper. They were addressed by our mayor. It wasn't me.
Was not.
So I do my due diligence and I try to do it well. Never in my life did I think I would have to go to this extreme to stop all the bad stuff and bring stuff to the front. Let people know. We know that we are not supposed to use our emails, our personal emails. We know it. We've been in training. All of y'all have sent us to many numerous trainings. So we know the rules. Council know the rules. We are here to tell you what the rule is, and I have done it today. Thank you so much. Now, you know, privilege, I have to work. All right, thank you.
Well. All right, so, today, once again, I hate when we come together and, the gallery is so full and we're rah-rah. But it seems like we are individuals that react versus pro. And some things have been stated, and I just hope that, as we bring it to the forefront, I know you guys don't care what maybe I might say or whoever. But you know, when we're doing something for our city as a whole, it should be that we should all know about it. And I know some of you are shaking your head at me and all that, but that's okay. I am a product of Albion. I'm born and raised here. Yes. If anybody would want Austin Avenue to be put up, I would be. My restaurant was there. My restaurant was downtown. It couldn't succeed in either area. To come to find out, there were grants and everything that only certain people were privileged to know about. I just believe whatever we do all around this council, we should all be able to know what's going on. And ethics should go for each and every last one of us, not only some of us. And it's not okay that some of us get our hands slapped and some of us don't. It is what it is. And no, I know I don't live in a glass house. I'll speak for myself. So you can conclude me in anything that you want. But as long as I have my position and I have put my oath to it, I will do what I'm supposed to do. And if you don't feel I should do that, then so be it. But I will continue to do that. So, yeah, it's a hard place to be right here. Because I know when Mayor Snyder got started, we worked together. And I was hoping that we can continue to be together on some things. But sometimes there's just a vision in here if you want to do the right thing. So I hope that we all can go forward, come together and be proactive versus reactive.
I know like, I look like I'm 29, but I'm 77. I've been in Albion for 75 years. I've been on this council for almost 16. There's two sides to every story. Albion is not stupid. And sometimes you have to do things that might make you look stupid to get to where people see that you're not stupid, you're trying.
Okay, I'm moving on. So the next is, well, we don't have to excuse anyone. I motion to adjourn this meeting. Support. Okay, all in favor? Anyone opposed? Meeting adjourned at 12:59.